Hey, Robert, how's it going? Hey, Kath, how you doing? I'm just running behind a little bit. I'm interviewing my friend, Kenya, today. I'm super excited. There she is. Hey, girl. So I'm gonna do this song real quick, and then I'm gonna, yeah. And then we're gonna talk. I just had a day today where I was like, okay, today's my first day back, like really. I mean, I got back yesterday, but after being out on the road for a week, which was amazing and incredible and all of that, but also just a little, hectic and crazy. So, hey, Simone, what's up? All right. For Women's History Month. I am free, I am fierce, I'm formidable, I am friend to the earth, I am fearless, I am fervent, I'm ferocious, don't you know who I am fresh, flying high, I am furious, and I'm fed up with waiting, I'm fiery, I am faithful. And I know who I am, I'm forever. I breathe fire, I'm fastidious, and I'm so fascinating. I'm fabulous, I'm phenomenal. Don't you come for my freedom. Don't you come for my freedom. Don't you come. Don't you come for my freedom. All right. All right, Kenya, can you request to join? And then, yes, I'm so excited. Invite. Adding, and I'm super excited. Hi, Michelle. Thanks. I'm still working on learning the lyrics and all of that. So it says adding. Oh my God! Now it says joining. Hey.
It said I had to change the orientation.
What's up, girl? How are you? Okay, you know what? I just remembered. I'm like, wait, I have to turn my phone up so that I can hear you. In fact, no, you know what I need to do? I remember now. Okay, how about now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Barely,
Yay.
but I can hear you.
Oh,
I don't know what it is, and people are texting me, and I'm like, I'm on my show. Like, what are you doing?
I'm trying to, because it's like, oh, you have to change the orientation.
Girl, I had that today too. I was like, and it usually it's just set up, and I just point and shoot. And this time I was like, oh God, it's a little nuts.
Yes, I'm reorienting my phone, and it looks like I'm looking away from you. That's because I'm looking okay. Anyway,
hi. Okay, I'm bummed because like it's hard to hear you, but it's okay. And I don't
okay,
know how to fix it.
Hold on, let me see if I can change something. Hold on.
So I'm gonna talk about
AirPods. I have you on my AirPods. Can others hear me? Maybe ask the comments if they.
Did you have them when I initially?
Yeah, so let me take them off. Let me see. Okay.
How about now?
How about now?
It's better. Can y'all hear her? Because if you can hear her, it's fine. They can hear you. Okay, great.
Okay, because I can't see the comments because the orientation.
is now, it like blocks. I don't know,
That
girl. I don't know.
orientation thing, it's like, it is so nuts. I mean, it's so crazy. Okay, so y'all, before I'm just gonna, okay, first of all, I love the glasses and the earrings and all of the fabulousness. It's amazing. So
I'm blind right now. My contacts are getting changed, the lens prescription, and so I have to wear glasses pretty much every day right now. So,
okay,
but they gotta
this
be
is good.
cool if I gotta
This
wear
will
them every
make me
day.
listen to you even better. So this is my friend Kenya, y'all, and I mean, like, Kenya's sister and I are the same age, and Kenya and I met in college, and Kenya is like, I don't know, I think we're both just sort of old soul type of, like hanging out. And you know how when you meet people and you're like, this this is
I
my
know
this is
you.
my person. Like
Our
this,
person.
like this is one of my soulmates. This is one of the reasons I'm here, so we can hang out together. Like seriously, like apparently I chose this and this, yes. And I was very, very, very clear when I met Miss Kenya, and
Yeah.
wait, let's see. Your orientations need to match. You could both change. How are we, like, how are you? Because right now I'm seeing us the same.
Yeah. We're not looking the same.
No, it looks the same to me. Let's see. Anyway, so,
Uh,
Kenya, tell me about what it is that you're doing because there's so many interesting. Okay, I know that we could sit here and talk for hours.
no, but we want people to hear your music. So I'm only going to take a
Oh, no,
small
no, no, no. No,
segment.
this is about you. I'm only doing you tonight. We're talking
What?
this whole time.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
even know. Oh, hi guys.
Yeah. Look, so I had gotten into this thing where I was interviewing people and just doing like an hour. I'd do the song at the top and then we would just like totally talk. And then somehow I think I got busy and I was trying to get people in to record, and like this one woman, Tony Lightfoot.
Oh,
I wanted to record her and she couldn't get her phone to and I was like, girl, I don't know.
yeah. And I wonder, I was going to join on my laptop, but then I thought, wait a minute, I think I have to have the app, and I don't have the app on my laptop. So anyway,
We're here.
but we get the hour.
Listen
I'm
in
thinking
and
I'm
listen
sneaking
closely.
in.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, hold on. I'm going to see if I bring you too close. It's going to, my face is going to be like that. But
Oh God, but I can hear you so much better though.
oh my goodness. Okay.
Can you turn your phone? Is your phone all the way up?
Yeah.
Mine is
Yeah.
too. And is the thing not on silent? I just turned mine on. It's on, like the volume.
Yeah. No. Oh, we're all live.
It's all right.
Can you ask the audience if they can hear me?
Yeah, they said they're
Is
fine.
that? Oh, okay.
They can totally hear you. So, girl, whatever. Anyway, so tell me about what you are doing because it is all at this point. So Kenya is an amazing musician. She was doing music for a while, but I think she's not doing so much of that now. And she's into wellness and mental health and wellness and taking care of yourself.
And spiritual health.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell me.
Yeah, I do a lot of things, guys. So, but you did a great job because I think it gets hard for people to understand when you are creative and you keep shifting and moving and doing, but just understand that is the energy of typically a creative and artist. So, but yeah, now I'm really focused on holistic wellness. And so when I say holistic, meaning I really focus on the mind, body, and soul. And so I curate experiences for mostly women at this point, mostly multicultural women, women of color, mostly women who are at that 40 plus. So our Generation X and some baby boomers and your older millennials who are now hitting their 40s. And one of the things that I do, so I do mostly non-traditional approaches to do this. And so I think, with Maritri, when we were talking and kind of, I think what made us say, let's do this interview, one of the tools that I use to help people really better explore who they are explore their development is astrology. And so I am not an astrologer. I don't go around and, do per se the typical readings, but I am a very serious student of astrology, and I use astrology as a tool, a modality for exploration, and then ultimately for self-care. So I am able to read a birth chart. I'm able to give you an idea of what your birth chart is saying and some of the critical areas that are really where you want to tap into when it comes to self-care, and when it comes to challenges, when it comes to gifts, and when it comes to what you need to consider for your growth. So, yeah.
And so we did a reading, was that last week?
Girl, I don't know the time no more. I think maybe, but I don't know. Maybe last week.
Anyway, I know it's all a blur at this point. I mean, the last 3 years are really a blur. And I realized while I was there working on this gig that the last time we were doing a gig like that, I was in New York and got shut down, and we couldn't do it. We had to wait like for weeks until they figured out the technology and how to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was like, oh my God, we were locked down literally for 3 years. But anyway, so I did, girl, okay, Rachel, listen. So Kenya did a reading on me, right? And every single thing that I am excelling at or not excelling at right now, and just trying to work through, it was also it's so clearly in my chart. I went and bought the book. So is her name, is it Chani Nicholas?
I think she pronounces it Chani.
Chani
Anyway, Nicholas.
Chani Nicholas is just, it's so practical. Like, sometimes you read astrology and it's so airy fairy and you're like, yeah, but that's not really me. It's like, no, this is the exact position of the planets. It's like, this is exactly what was happening when you were born. Yeah. You at 5:25 p.m. when you were born. Yes. Right. And I'm telling y'all, I mean, it's like, just like talking about, I think is it my 7th house with all of the death and stuff, and I'm like,
it's your 8th house. Yeah. Which, and I don't want to scare people, because one of the things that I think about astrology, we have made it scary and like boogeyman or ghosty, or like you said, like fairy tale-y. But I think it's super important that you understand that it's not any of that. It's the arc of, it's all the pieces of who we are. And for Marie Tree, because she seems to, I don't want to say experience death, but your connection to death, and having light, so much light in that, I could tell, okay, something's going on in her 8th house, because our 8th house is the house of, it says death, but really that doesn't necessarily mean human death. Death in astrology means loss and rebirth. That's really what that, term means, the idea that we have to lose in order to be reborn. But it also deals with mental health. It deals with using other people's resources or helping people with their resources. So I knew, because you're just such a light in that area. So. Yeah,
and the whole, so Kenya also does these retreats. The last one was in Costa Rica, and it was just women, right? How many of y'all actually went?
So it was 15 participants, and then it was myself, and I have an assistant. So it was 17 of us all together.
Nice.
Yeah. So we have another one, but it is only for the women who actually just participated in that one. We're only opening the doors to them for them to do a deeper dive. And we're about to announce the next one that will be open to the general population. Well, population of women.
Right.
Because my retreats are focused on women.
When I met Kenya, she was, you were a therapist, right?
Physical therapist, yeah.
Yeah, like mostly rehab and physical, right? But now it's like you've crossed over into the other realm of spiritual and mental and all of that. And what was that transition like for you?
Yeah, it was awesome, because I've always, I always tell people, think about what you loved as a kid. Just think about the things that really used to light you up, that you used to play. And I always said when I was little, and I didn't understand why I would say this, but I would say, I'm going to be a child psychologist. I used to say that all the time. And I had no idea even what a psychologist really did. But something in me. So I've always been very curious about behavior. And on top of that, as a kid, very naturally, I gravitated toward astrology. And I cannot, people have asked, I don't really, it's not like my parents sat me down and said, this is what a Scorpio is. They didn't follow it. They weren't, but I think it's because, in our age, in the 70s and 80s, at the end of magazines and newspapers, they would give the horoscope.
Right.
And I don't know what made me start looking at it, but I know at a very, very young age, I was able to quickly kind of figure out and understand what each sign, some of their characteristics. And I thought everybody, again, when you're a kid, you don't know. So I'm like, everybody knows this, right? So if a person told me their birthday, I pretty much could tell like some basic, some fundamental qualities probably. And I really thought that's how people actually navigated everybody. And it wasn't until honestly probably college that high school, college, and I realized, oh, not everybody knows this. So yeah. So I've always been curious.
All the other stuff in your chart too really dictates. I mean, like, because I'm a Virgo for just. There was another
But
Virgo
you're a
on
calm Virgo, and that's why I really wanted to dig into your chart. And nothing against, Virgo energy is a perfectionism and detail oriented, organized, and you are that, but you don't. One of the things that can happen with Virgo energy that you have to be careful is they can get very frazzled if that is off, and you don't present that. You may be feeling that inside, but that's not the presentation.
That's nice to know. I mean, it is like, I think I've learned, but chaos, I don't function well in chaos, although I'm learning to navigate through it because there's always some chaos going on. And I'm like, what is this lesson for me to learn? What am I supposed to be learning around people that I love that are just chaotic and it's just who they are. You know what I mean? And I'm like, how are you functioning? And then like the time thing, and it's so funny that this other woman on the gig was a Virgo. And the first day I was like, I'm probably going to be I'm the band leader. I need to be there early. And I came down and she was there and I was like, of course you're here. And she's like, yeah, she's like, I'm a Virgo. And my dad was always like, like my dad, if you're on time, then you're late.
Yes.
Don't waste people's time. Don't waste people's time. And I was like, okay. So, and people do this thing where they'll tell you, hey, be there at 5:30 when they want you there at 6. And I'm like, don't fucking tell me.
Right.
Don't.
Now I've waited because I probably come at 5:15, 5 o'clock.
This is
now,
what I'm saying.
So.
And then I'm mad. It's like, don't waste my time. But then I have other friends who, it's like their whole concept of time is different. And I've had to sort of, you start going, okay, if this is something that you're not good at, let me figure out how to make this work for both of us so that, I'm not mad all the time and you're not frustrated because I'm mad.
Exactly. And just to let everyone know, those of you who are not as familiar with astrology, everybody has every single sign in them. So we all have Virgo in us somewhere placed in our life and in our energy. It's just for Marie-Tree, and when people say I'm a Virgo, that's your sun sign, and that's traditionally and kind of how we've culturized astrology to only know the sun sign. But there are 10 planets, so every planet has a sign associated with it. And so those people who have their sun sign as Virgo, if you think of what the sun does energetically, it shines, it radiates, it provides light, it's the warmth. So if you are a Virgo sun, that's where you shine. You shine in your organizational skills. You shine in your time management. You shine in your details. But all of us have it. So my Virgo sits in communication. So I'm very, very particular about how I communicate. I know, and it drives me sometimes even crazy about how I do text messages, how I do emails, how I communicate with people. It's I have to have it to be organized a certain way. And so that's where it shows up for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And I mean, like, just figuring out the moon and also the rising, like, because those two things, like, finding out that I was a Cancer moon, I was like, of course I am. This makes
It does.
complete sense. Like it all, as I was sitting there looking, like when I, because I did my chart a couple months ago. I'm taking this writing class with April. Do you know April Yvette Thompson? She's this brilliant actress, writer. She's
Oh,
just
okay.
goddess, right? And so before we did it, she's like, no, you have to do your chart. And I was like,
I love it. She required it. Oh, I love it. And that's where I want us. I'm just praying that, yes, that's such good stuff. And when you really start tapping in, you understand why. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, she was like, if you're going to write stories, especially about yourself, then you need to understand why you're writing these stories and why they affected you. Because sometimes we roll through life and we think it's one thing totally. And that is not how we are perceived at all. And
Wow.
sometimes that's just not how it is.
Absolutely.
So,
Right.
well, okay, so
Absolutely.
anybody who's interested, because it's really amazing. You should put your
Yeah, I
you can't put
don't
anything
know
in
if
the
I
chat
know
right
how to get, because of my
now.
orientation.
You know what I'm gonna have you do? So when we're done, when I repost, just text it to me, and when I
Okay.
repost, I'll put her stuff in there so that you can know where she is. So
Yeah.
those are two of the things that she does. And listen, so she had her birthday party out here. You turned?
I turned 50. Oh my God, that's still so weird. Can I say this really quick? This is so funny because I literally forget. And it's not to say that 50 is supposed to equal whatever, but me and my like two girlfriends, like I've been wanting to see Usher live forever. Like I've never seen
I
Usher perform
love
live,
him.
right? I love Usher. I've even had a chance to meet Usher. Usher kissed my cheek. Like I was in a performance space at the Essence Festival, and we were in a holding space together. And I'm like, you know, anyway,
Because you draw that. You know the male musicians love you. I'm not gonna name names on here because
just a little, but I'm like Usher. But anyway, I wanted to say, so I've been wanting to see Usher. So me and my two girlfriends, we're all 50, we're like online trying to find the tickets. I'm like, okay, they're ridiculously expensive, whatever. But like we're like planning, and one of us can't, she's not able to come. But the two of us, I'm like, well, are you still game? She's like, yeah, girl. And I'm like, am I 8, 19, 22? What am I? So it's just so funny to say 50, because I thought about this. Do 50-year-olds like clamor over getting Usher tickets? Like, anyway, whatever. But yes, I turned 50
I forget
and I had a
how
thing.
old I am. Somebody was like, I was talking to one of my childhood friends, and she was like, well, we're not 40. And I was like, I am. And then I was like, wait.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I feel, yeah, all the time. But yeah. So I turned 50 and I wanted to do something that I would never do. And I don't give myself parties and things like honestly, on birthdays, I tend to be by myself for like half the day and then spend it with like my family.
Right.
And I made like a girlfriend on a day after or some days before. But I haven't really had a party, and it wasn't a party. It was a party that was thrown for me. That was when I turned 40. But 50, I decided I'm going to throw my own party, and I'm going to invite women who've been in my life, who don't live. I live in Chicago. So I said, I'm not going to invite women who are in Chicago because I get to see them pretty regularly. I want to invite women who have been a part of my life throughout my life, who don't live locally, who live in other areas. And, I threw it out to maybe 20 girlfriends or maybe a little bit more, and 10 were able to make it, and Maritri was one of them. And it was a really special, we did a sensuality dance class.
I'm still supposed to I had set her a date, and then she couldn't
She
she couldn't get it
just
together,
texted
and I
me.
need to call her and start bugging her again.
Yes,
I think
that's
she got a little nervous too, and I was like, "Oh, girl, like I'm totally harmless as an interviewer. I will just sit here and let you talk about whatever you want to talk about."
she's so amazing. That's Karma. Her name is Karma Rains,
Amazing.
and she's very active on IG. But we literally just texted before I came on here, because she's actually going to be facilitating a sensual dance movement during the retreat that I'm doing this fall in Sedona for the women, the part 2 for the women who already did the Costa
Wait,
Rica.
y'all are going to Sedona?
We are.
Okay, I could drive to Sedona and do bowls and music. I'm just saying.
You know what? Well, let's talk. Seriously.
And my girl that's on here, I think I just saw her, Megan. So we've been doing sound baths together.
Oh, yeah.
She's incredible. In fact, we start up again April 1st. Sedona
it's really special.
Is, so I've had a couple of vortex experiences. Every time I go to Vegas, I get sick, like violently ill. Like my body's like, oh, we crossed the state. Oh, no, you can't be here. No. I can't. I spent an entire New Year's Eve one time. I went with my mom and dad. They wanted to go. My brother's best friend, Mark, who you probably know. I remember, girl, we crossed the state line, and I was like, I think I'm going to throw up. And I never throw up. And they were like, what's wrong? I spent the entire time in the hotel room.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Sedona for me, though, is very, and even when I went to the Sting concert, like my people here sent me to the Sting concert, and I wasn't going to stay overnight. Oh, girl, I have to tell you that.
Yeah.
These jokers had me sitting on the stage with my own in-ears.
You have like but this you talk about me drawing whatever you draw, like not only do you draw people, but you draw really amazing people.
People.
That's really insane, but I love it.
No, yeah. So it was great, and I was worried because I was like, okay, I'm gonna drive there, I'm gonna go see the show, and then I'm gonna drive home. And they were like, okay, no, you can't. And I was like,
you can't do that.
But then, so they also got me a hotel room at Nobu, right?
Wow.
So it's all quiet, and it's all sweet, and it's away from the smoke and the people and all the yuck. It was
wow.
Because I was worried. I was like, oh my God, what if I go and I get sick? Because I always get sick, and it was totally fine. It was totally fine, and girl,
no, you deserve that.
Literally, I mean, he walked by me like he was like 5 feet away, and I was like,
that's just like dumb. That's like, he's doing a residency actually in Vegas, I want to say.
That's what I went to see. He's back. Yeah, he's coming back.
Yeah.
And I mean, it is.
Yeah, I have never seen Sting. And so I need to, he's one of my, I mean, I pretty much see every major artist, that I've, like, he's the only, I think he and Leanne LaHavis, which is not, she's not so big, but she's so
big though.
Yes. She's just, her music is just insanity to me. And she's one artist that I've tried or have looked, and it just never has like worked out. But from your Stevie Wonder, Prince, Michael, Whitney, all those people, Janet, like Beyonce, I've seen all those people. I haven't seen Usher, and
I want to see Usher. When Usher came out, his first song, what is it? All I do is think.
Yes.
What is it?
All the think of you.
Someone don't make me lose my mind.
That song,
when I heard that, I was like, that kid is a star. And he was probably 13, 14.
Yeah, he was super young.
He was a baby. And I heard that, and I was like, that kid is a star. Like, he's a bona fide star. And I know people are like, oh, no. He is still a bona fide star. Like,
still a bona fide star.
He's, super on the kind of down low, quiet. But I bought myself Masterclass, right?
I know, I'm familiar with it.
And he teaches one on performing and the art of performing.
Oh.
And he's kind of like my whole thing is always like, okay, so this is like silly and old, but Carl Walenda, right? I don't know if you remember the Flying Walendas. Yeah. Right. So I was obsessed with that when I was a kid. My dad showed me that and explained to me the story, and I was like, and then I saw this Carl Walenda quote, and he said, everything else is just waiting. He's like, life is on the wire and everything else is waiting. And I was like, these are my people. Like,
yes,
you know, and there's like, you know me, I
Wow.
didn't love being on stage. Like I love it now in a way that I have never in my life. And I think this has allowed me to, because
Yeah.
I'm not overcome with like all these energies and seeing them in the room. And as I'm
Yeah.
saying this, I'm realizing I'm like, oh, that's what it
That's
is.
what it is. Well, I showed you in your chart, like your north node, and you said you wanted to better understand north and
Yes, I
south
do.
node. Your north node. So for those listening, when you hear north node and south node, those are not planets. They're points kind of in the sky and the universe. And the idea is that energetically, the north node is kind of, it's what our soul is really wanting to accomplish in this lifetime. It's really direction that it's really, that's kind of where the whole point kind of why it's come. It's kind of the, I don't want to use the word epitome because that sounds really big, but this is what our soul really wants to achieve, and particularly in the latter, after we've kind of going through our before 50. Once we hit our 50 plus, it's really wanting to actualize that. Whereas our south node is what and astrology is making the assumption that life happens in cycles. And remember, I mentioned death, meaning loss and rebirth. So astrology is making the assumption that you've had a lifetime before, not as Maritri, but in another capacity. And so your south node, it kind of represents what you've already mastered in previous lifetimes. And so it's asking you to learn how to let go a bit of that energy. Take some of it with you. Take the good, the things that were really productive. But the thing is in this lifetime, because the soul's really wanting to go to the north node, much of the south node energy needs to be left behind. So for you, your north node is in creativity and pleasure and children and
It's it's all of the things. And like this gig that I had last week that I can't talk, it's like that I can't
gig.
talk about. It was like, oh my God, this is this thing that I've been waiting
Oh,
for. Like it was just this
wow.
moment where I was like, oh my God, this is what I was born to do. All of the other shit that I have had
Yes.
to go through and learn and figure.
Yes.
Like I was sitting there and listening to the orchestration that had been in my head for weeks. And I was
Wow.
like, this is what Mr. Penn was talking about. This is why I was sitting there frustrated the whole time. And
Yes.
then and then like the parts, like there was a trumpet, there was a cello, there were violins, and all of that was in my head along with the
Mm.
vocal and the lyrics and it was like, oh God, this. And even the recording process, it's like, how many hours have I spent in a recording studio
Right.
learning how to do this? How many hours have I spent learning how to do sound
Right.
and then how to talk to people and speak in the same language? And all of that
Yeah. Came
happened.
together.
And I thought about you, and I bought her book. As soon as we got off the phone, I was like,
Ching, ching,
Amazon, send me the book. And I totally did it all. And she doesn't, it's funny because she doesn't really talk about North
He
and
doesn't
South
talk
Node in the
about,
book. And I was like,
no.
no, I need to know what this is. I've never heard of this
Yeah,
business.
that's the only area. I'm not quite sure why she doesn't. There's another astrologer who does not have a book. But there's another astrologer that I have followed him more recently. Very young guy, African-American male who's probably like just hitting 30, 31, who has been studying astrology since he was 9. And he would hold these clubhouse discussions, and he's out freaking standing. He's so good. And he's like Channy in the sense of really relatable, really helps you. His goal, he's always saying, my goal is that people will begin to be able to see people and say, oh, that's just their north node, or that's just their whatever. He's like, I want to get people to the point where they're really understanding behavior. So he
Right.
spends a lot of time on north node and south node. And that's how I was able to really kind of pick up on it, because it isn't. And even in when you're just kind of reading astrology in general, but it's such an important part of you understand, especially those who are really like, am I on track with my life? And, what is my kind of purpose, or where am I trying to go? The North Node has a lot of energy around that. So again, astrology is a tool. It's not predicting your life. It's just talking about how you're wired. I try to tell people it's like weather. So, if it rains, that doesn't mean it has to ruin your day, but you should be prepared to be prepared for when it rains. So the whole reason we know, oh, it's raining, so I'll make sure I have an umbrella, and make sure that maybe I'll leave and wait until the rain ends, or I'll make sure when I go out, I have a different kind of coat. That's really astrology. It's like, okay, this is kind of how the scene is. It's a little bit how you're wired. Life is going to do what it's going to do. Use your gifts, understand your challenges, understand your flow, your tendencies. So it's so magical. I just want more and more people to, and not magical in the sense of fairy tale, like literally, like it's been a hidden, and there's some, understand the world we're in right now, or we've always been, there's been a lot of intentional reasons why certain things are not explained to us. And this is one that I think astrology is a tool that's been unfortunately really minimized, even demonized in some spaces. And it's very unfortunate because it's definitely a tool that you can hold any religion that you have. You can hold any faith practice that you have. It is not necessary. It's not really looking at that. It's looking, again, more at your characteristics and I like energy, because how we move, how we flow, how we feel pleased, how we feel displeased, that's all very much of what your astrology is about. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting to me that all of the ancient healing modalities are, and I didn't know about yoga, and it's so ironic so I play for a church out here that I absolutely love. It's a young pastor and his wife, and so Merle Evers goes to this church.
Oh,
and
wow.
I met her, and
Wow.
oh my God, she's incredible. And so I asked her one Sunday, I was like, and she said, so when Medgar was assassinated, the NAACP transferred us to this community and this particular church. And she's right.
Wow.
And there are these little young white kids. They're probably in their 30s. And the thing so the first thing is I met her at yoga. Right. So we're doing yoga together. And she's like, hey, would you consider coming to play for my church? And I was like, sure.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I was like, I can't even imagine, because I had just recently learned that yoga is, like some people think yoga is like from the devil, and I was just like, y'all are out of your flipping minds. Well, something can come in and take over you. Yes, you can come in and commune with your God, whoever that is,
exactly,
and heal your. It's so crazy. And so when I went, I think something had recently happened in the Muslim community, and her husband said, we have to support our siblings. And I was like, I have never been in a church, period, where somebody referred to another faith as a sibling.
I love that.
And I was like, I
love that.
And so when I was talking to Merle, and I said, well, how did you, and she said, baby, she said, they've always been very progressive here. She said, but these children here they are next level. She said, they're next level. And I was like, I agree. Yeah. I mean, she and like because you know what I do. And so when they called me, I was like, well, I don't know what to, and they were like, no, you can sing one of your songs. And I was like, and so I sang, and she came up afterwards and she was like, oh baby, that was so good, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, oh, this is the sweetest.
Oh my God.
So cute. And she said, awesome. My name is Merle, and we were just talking. And then she walked away, and my brain went, wait, that's Merle Evers. Who else do you know named Merle? And I was like, oh, Nikki Mitchell. It's oh God, I get this wrong. It's Claremont United Church of Christ. It's on Harrison. It's on North Harrison, and it is the bomb. I played. So now they hired me to come in once a month. Like I'm a musician
that's so
in residence.
Awesome.
And then one Sunday she was speaking, and I was doing, and she's like 90. Yeah, 90 plus.
I was about to say, how old is she?
90 plus. She is clear as a bell. Like they said that she has like slight dementia. I'm like, okay, it's very slight.
That's what I said. Okay.
Because she got up and she spoke, and somebody else had spoken too, and they were just going on and on. I was like, oh my God, stop talking. And she got up there, she did her little 5 minutes, and it was so engaging and just incredibly wonderful. And I mean, I was blown away.
I love it. But when you're tapped in like that, and clearly she's tapped in, and when I say tapped in, meaning really to soul and to purpose and to light.
All of it.
I mean, your longevity, you know, and obviously nobody knows the path, but just the freedom you have in your life allows you to just be in really healthy spaces. And so it doesn't surprise me. You have healthy boundaries. And this is why this is like, and you know, I wanted to say, because it's interesting, you said the gig, how you felt like it all has come together. And March is a really powerful, this particular March is a pretty powerful astrological. There's a lot of things very interesting kind of happening right now. And probably one of the strongest, and you may, if you've been kind of paying attention to the astrological kind of post or whatever, is that Saturn has moved into Pisces. Now, I don't want to go over people's head, but this is so, so important. And I'm actually said I was going to be emailing those who've had sessions with me that this is a good time to book a follow-up session, because just understand that Saturn, the planet of Saturn, hasn't moved since March 2020. Wonder what happened in March 2020. And so it stays in, it's called a transit when it's going through the different signs, and it stays wherever it's at for 2.5 to 3 years. And so it was in Aquarius, and Aquarius is the energy of new systems, truth, humanity, society. It's a fixed air, so it's very steadfast. And Saturn is the planet of what we're going to do. Let's be responsible. We need to review. We need to let some things go and rebuild and do. So now Saturn has moved into Pisces, and literally just last week. And Pisces is the energy of healing and the unseen and creativity and intuition and spirituality and divinity. And so it's going to be interesting to kind of see how now the world, how we're going to be, and how you individually in your own life are going to respond to your own divinity and your own understanding of that. Saturn is going to ask you, the energy right now is saying, review that. Where are you with that? What are you doing in your own life as it relates to really feeding the soul and feeding your intuition and and even challenging you to understand what is intuition. Like it's so this is gonna, conversations like this, you're probably gonna hear more of this, honestly, in the next 2.5 years, because this only happens every, it takes 30 years or so for it to get back into these positions. So it's really fun.
And here's what's
really exciting.
Crazy. So we shut everything down. I got on a plane the day before the world stops. And it's this same gig. We're just doing it somewhere else.
Oh, see.
And so
right.
Then we did this gig again in a different iteration that's so much bigger than what we were doing before. And because I was at the theater, and I was like, oh my God, this is the 3rd year anniversary of this world shutting down. But then when I look at like what happened, I had moved home, and I was like, I don't even know why I'm here. Like, what is happening right now? Like my whole, I'd lost my mom, and then I was here with my brother, moved in because I didn't want him to be somewhere where he would be in danger. The girls were here. He got a chance to spend those 2 years with them in a way that he hadn't before. And like, he looked at me one day and he goes, "We're mom and dad." And I was like, oh my God. Wow. Oh my God. We're mom and dad living in the house.
Yes.
Raising. So girl, so Frankie's birthday is the same as my dad's. It's August 15th. Riley his is the 14th. My mother's is the 15th, which is also Riley's birthday. And then Mary's is the day after mine. So it's
oh, wow. That's so these are all, I know it feels like what, but if you can see how these cycles, what you just said as far as that performance being literally the performance that was right. And now coming back around, and like to what I just said, we're shifting now into this kind of healing energy. And I don't know what, this is, but you're going to probably, artists are really probably going to be really called in some pretty special ways. And it also just depends on where Pisces sits kind of in your chart, but the general energy, is. And Saturn is,
and we
it's
talked
kind of like,
about
it's not,
Saturn being the taskmaster.
yes.
And, you know, this is my second Saturn return, which is
Yes.
what you're saying. And I'm like,
Yes.
of course, like, of course it
That's
is.
right, because you're right. You're in your Saturn return. So anybody who is of Maritri's age, so pretty much 57 to 59, 60, you're in what's called a Saturn return. That means you do have Saturn in Pisces. So this is the thing. If you are actually doing your work, and work meaning developing yourself, resting, getting therapy, getting support, trying to figure out who you are, not just being numb to things, but trying, then Saturn really gifts that. Like it's a beautiful gift from that. But if you are not, if you are still attempting to do things from a more mundane, outer, external kind of space, Saturn will jack you up, and it can be very, very disruptive. And it's being disrupted. It's kind of, think of what COVID, people are like, COVID, it was amazing for me. I was free. I was this, I was that. And then other people, oh my God, COVID, you're being low. And it's not, again, no judgment or anything, but just think about, you know, how you move in your life. Are you getting still? Are you reviewing? Are you attempting to create responsibility? Are you creating boundaries, you know, with people and relationships? All of those things. Saturn is like, so if you are being honest and you're making every attempt to understand yourself and to develop and like be siblings to mankind and so forth, then you're gonna, it's a beautiful space. If you are not so much, I would say you're probably gonna feel the disruption harder, and that's only because it wants to get your attention so that you will review and do this work. So.
And you know, that's the thing. Like, I feel like illness sometimes is the only thing that will slow us down. I had to learn that. Like, just when you absolutely cannot move. Like, I remember I couldn't walk through the airport in Atlanta, and I was like,
yes,
oh my God, like,
yes.
and I had to, because I'd been going so hard for so long, and you finally just burn out, and you're like, well, wait a minute, what is this all for? And am I on my path? Am I where I'm supposed to be? Am I doing the right things? Am I, like, all of those things just sort of, you know, came up. And it's like you said, it's so funny. And I mean, it literally was the day before. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like, the day before, because they shut Broadway down.
Yeah.
And my boss was like, you should get on a plane. And I was like, I'm going to do that. And I literally got on this plane. And then when I got on the plane, so then I had to go through Houston, and I was in Houston. I almost missed that plane. And I was like, oh my God, if I had missed that plane, I'd have been sitting in Houston with my family for God knows how long.
Maritri, you literally like flew like the day. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so when I got on the plane, I turned on the TV, and one of my latest favorite movies is Ford versus Ferrari, because again, that dude, I mean, like, I related to because he was like, listen, I don't know what y'all heard, but I'm here to do this one thing. It's back to the whole Melinda thing. Everything else is waiting. And he was like, I'm here, you know, I can work in a mechanic shop. Unfortunately, I have a wife and a kid that I'm trying to support and figure this out. He's like, but I'm here for this.
Yes. Yeah.
And when that happens, then everything's going to be fine.
Yes.
And once that happens, I'm good. And it was true. It was like, you know, sort of magically, like, he's like, no, I'm not doing anything else. I'm going to rest myself up, and I'm going to take care of myself. And the rest piece of it, like,
oh my God.
When you wrote Rest.
Well, so, okay. So it's so funny, because now, you know, obviously I'm feeling like there's a lot, and maybe because I'm in the healing space, but I'm seeing so much more about rest. And I think COVID, you know, opened the door for us to have new conversations about rest. But, you know, I wrote Rest over a decade ago. And, you know, really knew, like, for myself at least, like, I gotta go sit my tail down. That's the only way this is gonna get better. This is the only way I'm gonna actually hear the truth. And for me, I wrote that song because I needed to get back into music, but I was running away from it, and I was doing everything but it. and it needed me. I had to get shut down in my personal life, and what was happening, I had a more personal just chaos and crazy that made me, like everything else will wait, made me sit down. And I realized once I got still, so much came to light. Like, oh my God, if I don't try this music thing now, I knew I couldn't articulate it, but I knew that something about it, I needed a lesson there. And it was less about, oh, I'm going to be a star, I'm going to be an artist. It was very little, and which was why it was hard for me to do it, because it's like, I don't know, it's trying to teach me something else about me. And then obviously gifted to others, because it's, being an artist is a vessel for other people. But yeah, and it's just interesting that now, ROS, how we're talking about it. And, I'm just excited to be in this space, because this is work that I've always done for myself. Since I was little, I've understood this, but I never really talked about it, because I just always felt like the judgment, or people just really wouldn't be able to relate to it. So I am like, yay. And so one of the things, when you turn 50, you're in what's called a Chiron return. And the Chiron is another kind of point, asteroid, and its energy is wounded healer. So it's kind of where our wounding is. But the idea is that you turn that, once you heal and start working on that inner child stuff, then, and you move, you get to a healthier space with it, then you can help heal others who've gone through similar spaces.
That's the critical part. And like what you, because, I told you this, I have long thought, I need to be some sort of doula for death, because that is my space. I mean, I work in these hospitals and I see these people and I work with these children, and it's like, that speaks to me. Like and I realized that my concept of death is very different than most people's, but that's, my mother was the same way. She was like, I don't go to funerals. I want to remember the person the way they were. So I didn't go to funerals. And like, I missed Bill Toll's, I missed his dad's funeral, and he didn't talk to me for a really long time. And he was like, I don't understand. And I said, well, I couldn't bring myself to do it. My dad was sick at the time. And I was like, I wasn't in the headspace, and it's, but you, like what you said about boundaries too is so important, because sometimes we're so busy trying to heal everybody else.
Oh my gosh.
We're walking around raggedy, and it's like, if you're not healed, then you can't heal other people, right?
And those of you who are watching and who are in healing spaces or caretaking spaces, or you're just naturally a nurturer or mother or that, and I fall in this, my rising is Cancer. So for me, Cancer, I'm very driven by nurturing energy. That's what I'm a helper. And that for me is what I'm working on now, is that's my big thing right now. Is I've done a lot of the healing work and I'm still, still work. It's always a work in progress, but I've done a lot of the belly, the really mucky stuff of it. But what I'm at now is like, okay, are you going to provide the same nurturing and self-care and giving that you give other people? Are you going to do that to Kenya, for Kenya? And I too had this health. You said you couldn't walk to the airport. I, for the past 3 months, had this situation where I was just like, and I'm not going to give all my TMI, but it was a situation that I was like, oh my God, I can't really move. Like, and it broke me down to tears. Like, I was like, I have to have my body. Like, I have to be able to do this stuff. I cannot sit up and have to sit on a couch all day.
And you don't realize it's problematic until it's gone. Like, I didn't realize until I was so anemic that I literally, like, it was, and you know how much I walk like 30 miles a week. And I'm like, I can't walk to the corner without feeling like, and it wasn't that I was out of breath. I was just exhausted.
Anemia. I run anemic, and so I have to take iron. And, when I found out that, because I didn't know, I thought I was having a heart attack, because any little move, I was just like, oh my God, my heart shouldn't be racing this fast. I shouldn't be this. I work out every day, so it's serious. But you're right. Health, that's kind of, again, the body. So that's why I do mind, body, soul, because we can't just talk about astrology all day and think that that's healing. We can't just talk about your emotional stuff and what happened with childhood and trauma and all that. We can't just talk about weight and illness and chronic disease. They're all working together. They're all impacting each other. And typically it's starting with the soul energy that then kind of goes into our values and beliefs, and then kind of goes into our body. So the body is the scorekeeper. And so it's the last place. Like whatever has been going on through all the soul, all the mind, and the body is actually the last. So once you manifest in illness or in that, then this has been a problem for a long good time.
The body is the scream, right? All that other stuff is the whisper, and it's like you should be paying attention. You're like, no, I have to move, I have to keep going. And then the body is like, no, this is it. Yeah. I'm screaming at you. You have to sit still and just figuring out how we are not still people.
No. Actually, tomorrow I'm doing I'm starting a new YouTube live series with a girlfriend of mine she's also a life coach too, but she titles herself as the Calm Coach. And so we're doing a thing called Black Her Story. And we're telling stories basically from the lens as Black women, but we'll have other topics and stuff. But our topic for tomorrow, we're really going to be focusing on, do we fear rest and getting still? Because we're talking, just go rest. We all need to rest. And kumbaya, let's rest. We should rest. There's a reason why people don't rest.
Yes, and it's like the pandemic, right? You were forced to shut down. And I think the reason that like some people were totally freaked out because they had never been alone with themselves. They had never been alone with their families, their spouses, their kids. So many relationships fell apart and so many came together because for the first time in some people's lives, they got off the hamster wheel and were forced to look at themselves and who they were. I mean, listen, that first week I was so excited. I was like, I don't have to go to work. I don't have to grind. I can stay in bed. And I was isolating too because I didn't want anybody to. I was like, oh, this is the best shit ever.
I still have my little COVID life. Like I work still remotely. Like I was thinking about that a little bit today, how much I love being able to work from my home, being able to, do my schedule the way that I need it. And I, just for others, I work also at a university, and I do this healing work with students also. And so, but when COVID hit, I was able, because I was commuting all crazy before that. I was trying to do music. I was trying to, just for complete transparency, I was going through a divorce. I mean, I don't know how much more chaos you could have. And so COVID for me, I was at the tail end of my divorce process. And so I was just moving. I moved into my house. So the house I'm sitting in, I moved into my house maybe the Friday before Chicago shut down. So Chicago shut down like on a Sunday. I moved in that Friday.
I mean, it's just incredible, like talking about it and talking to other people about it, because, you kind of think you're the only one, but, I think we had talked before that, like I had come, I was here and I was substitute teaching full time at the kids' school. I
remember, yes.
And then I was on the road for that vacation. And so when I came back, it was shut down. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to support this whole family. As a musician. My brother's sick. He's, trying. It was just, I was so, and then, this voice was like, your gift is always going to take care of you.
Yes.
Your gift is always going to take care of you. I mean, like, 3 weeks in, I'm playing for an hour and people are sending money. And I'm like,
that's what I mean, your story, you always kind of have this, but again, remember what I said about the 8th house, just so people can relate this again, loss and rebirth. And that's where you're Virgo, that's where you shine. So your ability to take that loss, and like you said, you used it and shifted it to now help this is so therapeutic what you do. Music is obviously another form of therapy. And what a gift that I can every night, when I just need a moment, or if I miss it, I can just go to your page and pull it up. I mean, that's huge, Marie-Tree. Like, that's so massive. I wish some of, Oprah needs to hear your story, girl. This is like a classic Oprah love,
listen, I am working on like seriously, like the story of, you know, me coming home. I mean, and everybody kind of, you know, a lot of people have that story where they come home and they meet their boy, you know, whatever, and they get married. My story is totally different. And
Oh,
it's like all of that acquiring children. Like I always wanted children, right?
I
And now I'm
know.
like, I got kids
And
that
those
are really
children are
cool.
in her north node. Her north node is in the part of children. So just to kind of let people, it's children, pleasure, play. All of that is the fifth house, and that's where your north node
And
sits.
that's
So
who I
it's
am now. You know,
yeah,
after all these years of like just plugging and all of that had to happen. You know what I mean?
yes.
Like the plugging, all of that. And I don't have any regrets. I'm like, the only regret I really had was not learning to ice skate and not having kids. I'm never gonna ice skate because clearly I would break a whole bunch of shit that I can't be laid up in traction. But you know, the kids part, it's like, and I look at them and you know, like I think about how I was raised, and you know, my mother was like, no, you have to do this, 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 and this, and this
Yeah.
is how it has to be done. And I was doing that with these, and then I was like, they're
No.
not mine. They don't belong to me. They belong to themselves. And they're
Yes.
here. I'm just here to make sure they don't fall down and hurt
Yes.
themselves. That's my job. Like whatever happens
Yes.
for them is going to happen, whether I get in the way or not. And I don't want to get
Yes.
in the way. Okay, girl,
Yes.
why is it 6 o'clock? What
I
the?
know. It's time. It's done. We've talked a full hour. Oh my God, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for inviting me. I will text you a link. But those of you who, if you simply just go, I was gonna gift the audience who is really watching this with a little bit of a discount if you wanted to book a session.
Please
I'll
book a
text that.
session.
Yeah.
It is just book the session. Like you don't have to continue going unless you really feel attached to it. But I'm
Yeah,
telling
it's a
you,
one session situation. Yeah.
the one session for me, and I'm gonna do another session just because I have other stuff that I need to, you know, do with you. But it's just like it was so life changing for
Thank
me. And you,
you.
I mean, you know how I feel about you. Like I have pushed Kenya for forever. Like I'm like, girl, with
Yes.
a voice like that, please don't sit on that. Please don't sit on your piano playing. Please. She's incredible and she's healing and therapeutic and all of this. But this work that you are doing now is so necessary in this world where people are just so lost and so sad.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much sadness, you
Yes.
know?
Yes. And music is still so much a part of me. So, you know, it's funny. And then I'll let us go. I was just talking to a woman here in Chicago, and we're trying to put together a music healing session so that we can really combine the music, but not in the sound bowl. I know that's a lot of what we're saying, but actually using actual songs, recorded songs and live acoustic performances, to really have people tap in and then journal, and you know, talk a little bit more holistically about, you know, our healing, but using music kind of as a background. So I'm still there. I just want to use music a little bit differently now. So
Well, you know, I'm always looking for a way to work with you and do stuff with you. So Marvin is on from Adinker House, and he's like, she's so good, and he loves your voice. I know. I was like, yes. So he's actually seen her. She's incredible. I mean, you know,
thank you
girl,
so
I love
much.
you. We
Thank
have
you
to
guys
do
so
a
much.
part 2 and part 5 and part 15 because I I never get a chance to talk to you. Is like I'm never exhausted talking to you. I'm
I
always like,
know.
but one more thing, but one more thing, and it's like,
What
but
were
we have
they?
lives and we have to do stuff. Okay, y'all. So tomorrow, what's
So
tomorrow?
yeah,
Thursday,
tomorrow,
right?
tomorrow's Thursday. So yeah. So
So
you're gonna sing
Cece's
a
birthday
song
is
for them? I can
tomorrow.
get off. So you got to do a song, like one more. And let me say this: if you wanted to go, if you go to at Kenya MJ Music on Instagram, and you just go to the like bio link, or even actually here on Facebook. What I'm talking about, I think the link is there. So if you go to Kenya McGuire Johnson, my page is public. Like I don't get all whatever. I post things, whatever. If you go on the link in the bio, you'll also see where there's a link to book. But that's not the special discount. So if you want a discount, that's the one that I'm gonna send Marie Tree.
Yeah, she's gonna send that. So if I'm, y'all know me. Y'all know me. It never made sense logically to me. Like, okay, I know I'm a Virgo with all the Virgo stuff. But then when I looked at the other stuff, I was like, oh, that's why this is like this. And then just physically looking at the chart, and Mickey's on it.
Yeah.
So Mickey, my mom had Ada do my chart, and it's here in the house somewhere.
Yeah, I think that's you know, God, we got to end. My master's is in counseling. So I have a degree in physical therapy, but I also have a master's in counseling. So my background of really learning, helping people kind of process, I combine that with looking at the chart. So it's really important for people to have an experience where they can at least begin some steps that is digestible. And astrology often is not. So the session, if you do a session, just understand we're going to spend the first like 20 minutes just us kind of talking and you expressing, me asking a couple questions, and everything that you say, I'm going to be able to show you in the chart so that you understand that this isn't me just, it's you said it, I did it. I just asked like 3 or 4 questions, and then I'll show you in the chart so you can recognize that this is really literally a part of who you are. So it's very therapeutic. It's not just a reading. It's not like that.
100%. Okay, I love you.
I love you too.
All right, y'all.
Thank you.
I will see you tomorrow. We're celebrating Cece's birthday tomorrow, and I will have all of Kenya's stuff. It'll be on my page, and I'll put it in our group so that you can check it out. I highly, it's Mike Johnson for you. Like, it'd probably be really helpful to you. You know, it's for anybody who's going through something, which is pretty much everyone, every day.
Yes. And even if you're not going with it anything, it's just an affirmation. It's an affirmation.
Absolutely.
So. All right. I'm getting off.
Me too.
I'll see you guys. I love you.
Girl.
All right. Bye.
Bye.